a range of issues, and I say a whole lot of issues, and apeja. There's this banter between the minority and the majority, especially on the lithium deal. No, MPP wohonum omo ye omo de 10% na was Ghana enya, and this buy omo de about 5%. Omo kasa ho ema the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources eka se waka wate obese pinechi na one womo kabie womu akwa akodi nkomo no kre okodi nkomo enra esa go piem parliament still minority ness still enya endi mamintiu your opinion about Ghana's discovery of lithium and how well ebetimi aboa ama Ghana yetimi di ewo.
Well, sorry. It's a Ghana nye country so industrialized and the tax base and so to be able to cater for state expenditures, especially on the humans, to support them where they are not working and all that kind of stuff. Into your resources, and when you just look at it's a lithium a very, very, very important resource. A lot of countries here used to the omonioma bebre.
Yeah.
It is a winner resource bisanwa. I was so the maximum from it, so that you can also use it. Ubitime use to the infrastructure na bibia I was here. So Bekaya Nigeria. Ominya crude oil almost started so much and then secondly be part of the build the Abuja.
Yeah.
The next capital. So when the Sanyo money back minor braboma nisi diagro. Number two, so and your money back or minor braboma start to say lithium resource and say so we just serious experts. Area where we meet me analysis as to how there's a Ghanaian and Minister of Lands and Mineral Resources now. Obako also needs a high level negotiators ever negotiate on it. The first thing I'll be when say the resource are finite. Ebesa at some point in time. It will be the time you start to a better time say Ebeka could do point at Ebesa no. I will say the benefit. The other government this one they are more retaining 10%. I believe say in doing that, there were other things that were benefiting. Omino and Crawford
other royalties.
Any local content in your manoma and in your manoma account. It is a banner so say but it says 10%, 5% in Homoka. Nature say I then go for wait me almost push it 10 now they will push it 5. At the end of the day, or even on the flat level, 10 there's obedience can be say 5. In the other I will go for the last one. And normally I know to say and your baby were chili. That is a baby a African countries ni papa. Obo see resource be abani ekoton. And now you need to be going into partnership and now produce share agreement in your manoma. Na ni pakrono negotiation wakako jine chili. Na die se ba Ghana ho no. Na ebi ekono ho. Na Ghana enya less for the resource no. Esipa ewo yen high. The way say no, I'm tempted to believe say ebi bibisa na because if the other government or the other minister no could negotiate for 10% there, then about 5%. It terms minister, substantive minister no. Already you don't sound back you.
Okay.
Now unkunya be 15% and not 20% mine. Because you hear says cano. Now you development to a chroma. As I microphobia munyajuma. Microphone munyajuma muni bibi Christmas year bay. On bed no more didi. On bed no my nyoma. Media almost account. It's in many minorities in the yard, says and inconsistencies no more can. Was a government no so omotomboasina omuyeni years. So we need the right caliber of people to negotiate these deals. And Utimifa consultant. Utimi employee be Crawford Richard Bamane or the Abayama. And yeah, by for Yakianik is a so now got now and as only lawyers be omunya vest in this kind of dealings with the resource, no matter what, it only goes to the detriment
But it looks as if in our country, Ghana, or other countries now, you have all these resources, natural resources, the way they are doing, negotiating, they be as a Ghana catch it. Oil, we saw similar situations. Yakoye, Mampeneko for Koye, Yaseni, Wakope, Kituebi, and or the Abba. But other jurisdictions, you look at, friends, Chile, Numni, Nasifona, negotiations, no. They saw disparities, no.
Everyone wants a resource. For example, say there was an issue about him bauxite, I buy, because I'm sure people be on it. Say, who's that bauxite? Ghana in your bauxite in 1901.
1901.
And who's your bauxite? As at 1944, no my home BPAV. Abrafuni who's here fighting for independence. They started to say Kasa normal. Doing on ice. In the other time, a bar up say, you perceive the mobile. Metro article be one say. I didn't want who we why prospecting when who be when the specification, the quality, the quantum, on a quantums now. I then ask a war. It's the idea open is open scar. Would be two. And I know why a bauxite and they move from there to a alumina, and normally aluminium pants and then your manoma be cast in your manoma. Ain't no one is anwa. Yeah, because you new big agreement in my 20%, not 10%. Yeah, because
information in that.
Yes, yeah, because you cotton. But they say no. You probably a final agreement. So it's a final let to say. Interesting, just final agreement. No, just say. They say they see in this sky they too. I say be a 100 cities per unit. It's you have 80 cities. But for the first can my is the amount of time I mean within 5 years time you see a plant in the BBA when you start to see a supply because all maize all turn in then now why any asset here in time in do they start to supply you best supply at a cheaper price. I won't so wait to me and make up Osikana or the mine. This is how a lot of people go into these transactions because and yeah idea you exploit. You need data. It is about that in this way. Yeah, here be say exploration no Maya. And now you do I say there's a doubt as to the commerciality, the quantity, the quality and the rest of it. Didn't you know the Pacono didn't see bemuno. And the normal circumstance, concessional agreements allows okay, and yes, so P. But then no crap, only by PSs, produce share agreements. So okay, say I didn't have any year by exploit. If any year by to you, Nsembebre. It is sad, you say, Ubenya be 60%, they 40%. But as time goes on, now what to seek and what to can way, the enso, bastro. To be do baby no find the need do baby and face and so enough to allow the big operations to go on and now jama kronuna for a foreign investor no jahoko. These are negotiation points. I so be nim no otimiko trabe be no kaso okay me negotiate for this aye to the benefit of my country. And to me who says that then you're very lacking.
You're lucky
sort of conversation way no into the biano yakoya agreements ni we are between na me trade them na for no more yes negotiations in your money as a government to move out. So look, the preferred minister or the preferred consultant would be a member of the ruling government.
Okay.
Because then your baby could be a society. But so we need the kind of caliber of people. Or me to me yes a national issue. A ma quite so be consultant before be well versed. Waban for the benefit of the country.
Okay.
It as a kianeki. Negro for a party, Mana, a young betty man, so Yakofa minister be a better on one negotiation. And now,
As we said, we don't take it serious, or Yafan said, until we do it as we want it to be. And I said, we want it our way. In Tianasa, there are a lot of people reading meanings into some of these things.
The problem is the illiteracy in politics.
Illiteracy in politics, illiteracy
in politics. Because the woman say the political the country no who say political parties there, associations, feel say they can run the country better than and make the nation country prosper. It's at all material times, members of this political party are citizens of the country, and members of that political party are citizens of the country. It's the normal for minister be so or a minister of lands. The presumption is that he will be the best in the country.
Yeah.
But what we see is that the partisan, it is taking over the interest of the country. It took over 10%. Is it in the interest of the country?
Yeah.
Because the country is the country. I see a niska. There I see a niska. You go house the grace a niska. And no more baby hope income support on employment benefit. You see a niska and tintiminye. It be so about this kakra brain. I didn't need for your shame now. Even if you have to bring experts. But you show Ghana, there are a lot of people who are much more qualified to sit on these tables and do these negotiations. But because of political sentiment,
from
mama. It's Yanka say be and I feel the so be so on your very, very okita moral fortitude, and on drink Ghana and home patriotic person. He thinks about on only bottom into a categories. Brunino so debut I ready so be out.
Okay.
It is all man quite know who's away the kind of person. Or by my office. So that's how we mammy you say. We will know what you get caught up in it, and then you saddle the whole resource to that sort of transaction, to the detriment of the country, right through.
Yeah.
And political parties, mobile government, I say who's a Ghana and government of Ghana, and the Ghana comes first, and Sana Maba. Into more yina, and you by force. So unima the prayer was usudi.
Okay.
The unima. A minus of my consultants, Papa. It's even if you have to bring foreigners, I bring them to come and negotiate. And if they do goodness negotiation, they get much more money.
Yeah.
There are people all over.
Are we not capable of taking up that responsibility ourselves? Say, you know, all right. To me, looking at the quantum of money. Sometimes you cast a Ghana use in a year, and I say for a period. Can't we do it on our own?
Well, it's something that I've always been talking about. If it's a commercial activity, that will bring revenue at the end of the day. Because the government must, even it means the government will borrow
to do that.
The government should borrow. So that when you bring in these experts now, they come and they work for the country.
Yes.
And you pay them at the end of the day. That is, you create this huge equity. And the effect is a resource in Abani, I didn't think you for be now on my 10% on my may. I didn't think you can okay, you will lithium, we were how. And you who say, Wahabi, you correct or who are. Ye pebosia, I the baby, Yanka say, yeah. Into 2 years, Oceano, as time goes to Ibichauka. They said the Tamils here for a gas now. I give for finance in a only I present Kofojan and the notes and happen us. May use to crude oil. Crude oil na yanyaw jubilee no. Me de me hedge crude oil no makwa bobusia. Na me de develop your gas.
Yeah. And today we are enjoying from it.
It's in the way who say, oh, the terminals in here, to say, yeah, enjoy. Yeah, at least there's the certainty of revenue. It can be done anywhere. For example, maybe to say ECG. ECG is a monopoly. So, ECG a monopoly. And no one at all electricity to Chrome has a be produce electricity so the ECG. VRA government there. And also and the biggest producer of electricity. A Greco a government there. On or transmitted electricity. It is over to one also be a catch or say ECG Aboka. ECG Nisika. ECG say now who say BB Kosu ECG wa. Yes, it's a VRA for Meska. 100,000 power worth of 100,000. So go ECG. Omnom meter abo no mutu. You know, checking it, auditing it is easy.
Yeah.
700 in the mao. I will lose in terms of getaway. I in the car and I in out on. If an out on, it's easy to audit it. But the politics of the day, no, and can't want them down. What you say? And can't want them down to be a nimsika ECG for. A make in a year, but you say contracts are kesiye. If you are buying ho,
Yeah.
a supply of wood in your money, I'm not going to just get you. But do time I see for a bit you have VR for car for more gas, or more electricity, no buy no munisca. Now buy some pesca for baby. Who could check your dinner? Now say, oh, I didn't know, say, uniska, the quarter idea that was my spending. What to be that? So we according to
you
expenditure anyway. There's a whole regime of some things that are going on in this part of the world, especially Ghana. And what national issues has to be dealt with at a certain level. And don't forget that these people are elected by the people to represent them. It is urban to represent you. That's where it means something better than it used to be there. And then you are a failure.
Okay.
We're failing.
Okay.
Now, and then be a radio program, will be about a cathedral and seminar. And I'm saying, Massa. I did the account, but this is our point. Mukusuka. Munja na a simple matter. Aba any devi. The account a Christopher in your man on Bayomodi. Yanko on other matters. Ebua, obiti say a to. I didn't at all.
Still,
the only equipment owned by Ghana that produces take crude oil and produce petrol, diesel, kerosene, gas, LPG, and the rest of it. I didn't think that it is in a problem. Now, I come in Kurman, I didn't that I do. As Kabana, I expanded, I supply the whole West Coast petroleum. Why? Into a minister's a president's normal, but who say a commercial entity. I see a my government can be bringing other infrastructure development in your money. Obi between car organ be use petrol. So equipment matra ma Chinese for BBC a refinery ha.
Almudijiska.
Ekomukuru. And you know, I don't understand. Politics, they are more concerned about Skebeko rather than the nation building.
Yeah.
There are serious enterprises Ghana say it should be able to raise so much money for the benefit of to support the taxes and the rest of it for development.
Yeah.
I don't see it happening. A hit and run almost. There's no consistency of program to where you say a 24-hour economy. And you drive. And you demand drive. If they don't want to buy, do you produce?
No, you can't.
If you don't have the base industrial development and that base now to do a 24-hour economy, how do you achieve it? It's not going to happen in this term or in the next term or the next term.
It's Hana Hunu.
How going to be happy?
Obi also obey in you see a friend saying a demand no man for
how you do the demand for you need pay across the show of your population is unemployed. In this calculated you near the abeton you may and we are predominantly an importer country.
Okay.
Into how do you do it? I don't know man abeton and conform to discover never.
That's the issue.
It's fundamental. If you want to do a 24-hour economy, I was so okay. Duane, ye di wahai. Ye import to be brain. Yen done no na. Ye more this year. Baby start to produce ye duane ye di. You produce ye duane ye di. We are at the employment be brain a beba. Now if we move to another sector, because 24-hour economy is just okay. People are buying so much. Say, and no money you produce no. It means and your man uncle for it on it increase the time near the producer the baby to meeting. Sa na dia could do 24. And you also do some point you have met the needs of the people, their positive demand, and you have some left to export.
Yeah.
Now we move into the system. They take it time to base these things. The factories must get their primaries from their raw materials here. And in your manual, it's a whole crank up. It's a good idea for somebody to say, I want to move in that direction. But I believe that the president will lay the foundation. And then talk as also lay foundation. Now another government is about Twaso. I will send you about housing. You are more versed in this than me. And to me, I know the resources to the Pamucho ministers near more and the president. And only a war. You need that base, a tax base, because a lot of people do not work, so they don't pay taxes.
Yeah.
And you need other resources, kind of government resources, enterprises, and generating the revenue. I support to GR Fusi Common Ban in your ban. Omu operate optimal. because they have not been run as a commercial entity so that they become very profitable. They have been run as a public service. Into obi oti obi o enyacho. And then ukwa goil. Uko to petrol or goila. Ode card, debit card ma money.
Amompe.
Amu card be so. Is that not limiting the amount of people who buy from God? Total will be. If Shell will be. Into ukwa Shell o card no to papa ya to petrol no. Into a mini card be say min kogwe. So go say Ghana for them.
Yeah.
And so these are some of the things.
Commercial bank.
Commercial bank is a commercial entity. Commercial bank, because the way it was set up in Obabia at the same time. I didn't think a commercial bank grow anywhere top corporate companies. No. Yeah. Because of the way it is run. You run a commercial bank to say a public service job. That regime is a commercial.
Yeah.
Into a banks, foreign banks now, you know, compete. And you baby infrastructure base. No. How many quarter how come still high bre? Ukwa ATM machines no. First name is visa. Na see and most of visa. I feel old ones be the necessary obey yes canema. I feel nobody new ones be ba.
So we are own enemies.
Yeah, we are our own enemies.
Ghana.
And it is either rooted in our lack of knowledge or understanding what statehood is about.
Okay, but all my two scenarios. Looking at that, maybe a Ghanaian will leave Ghana or be other soils and be prosper or be excel. Why can't we do that in our country? Yeko nimdiana enya wahana yesi we lack no. Yade kobi manso eko excel ho.
Tio. Obronino and where my tribal church what I saw was that Bronino Yenajudi say number one, the interest of the human being is paramount. Now how do I get this person to live a very comfortable life and not become a criminal and join in the building of the nation?
Okay.
Into number one, also Niska. So this card is a man kakra no to support no. Near improve no. No to me adwuma ye. Enti ma me nyima. Akola no ma me yem no wanyem no. E ho na government ni interest wo. O make sure say akola no. O be support na kopim say akola no be di 21 we university near here and wa download the nego system no. Because omo dey say if we develop the human beings, it is the human beings who will develop their settings. Through that, you know, geniuses in ba, factories in ba, innovations in ba, and the rest of it ba into corona was overdrive. Sikani ba, inventions ba, big taxes ba, production the air ba, BBI air ba. And so we don't care about the human being.
The development of the human being.
Development of the human being, we don't care. If I'm saying window dressing. Window dressing. If you acquire an amso. If you have hospitals and no my cost. If you no my and drug for the baby and so standard boards for passing the beer. And my yard, a bank for sending no man. And you know, the development of a Senipa no etimi develop no kakra not o ye ne settings no obetime develop ne settings it here's a government eba be low cost housing baby because they are developed no ntino omo to build omo settings maybe say look, if you're not flying into America for example and you look through the window of the aircraft who are dynasties one in your developments and no man one government they will bear 1%. They are Kenyina, your citizens in India. Because your mom, the ability to develop themselves, and therefore they are creating equity for themselves. Has equity in the way? So you've development programs, yes, employment, so you have my employment by 300. Meanwhile, equity then kind of word in Ubikrum. We have allowed foreign countries to even now come into your country here, woman, to sell, and your man constitution bars them to sell. Say petty goods ni tomatoes ni and so Nina is reserved for Ghanaians to do these things. And who is watching? Who is the watchman?
That's the question.
And almost see because it's a trade that they want. It is the trade also that generates revenue. It's the trade that allows you to develop your settings. But if they come in and they take the trade from your people and they export their profits out of the country, how have you gained? Internet was here basic. Near making sure that you for never no. You incorporate to almost idea with near more for example. So we have a supermarket. A foreign base, Baba Besia. If I made my friend young man to say, blah, 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 make government to me, so bra. I go over so fair, my Jumo. Into one was assassin at Ben Hono, Cocoto. You have a mouse canwato. Now I buy ye. Now you're subsidizing. Oh, no matter what way you are subsidizing. It ought to be known compete eventually, or better, and then I'm annoyed with Yahoo. That is how you go, Sana Chinese for ye. Sana Indians in a year. Sana all these countries almost and they first time yet developed in any way or maybe developing. I do a year in this age 2024. 2025.
That's a big question.
We have to move accordingly because WTO rules require a reciprocal. Oh, yeah, mammy, and I'm Smayama. You don't be Bianco, baby, and toy Bibiao, baby, and telling you say reciprocity. It is what we are ignorant and own him the rules. No, and of you say, oh, and it's international trade. International law is it is inferior to domestic law. And domestic law. Oh, yes. Domestic law is much more powerful. Intina, I was say we promulgate it at the bar. A local assistant to government get the bit practice we any say. It's normally selfish kaka. The governments of our country should be selfish and try to have the policies. So knowledgeable to that extent. Also pay Ghana has a set the table now employ devoid of political sentiment and bring people who are more advanced in these areas to come and advise the government. It is their right. It is the government's right also to move in those directions. After all, the president is a president of Ghana. He's not a president of any political party. It's under constitution. That is why it is vested in a human being and not the political party.
All right.
It will mount up to that occasion and let us move forward.
Now, let's assess the NDC government 1 year on. Minim the Obeka
Me mom dear, it is me holiday. No, me holiday for any political party in governance in this part of the world. You bear 1 year. But when they compare MPP for the name say MPP for Tama MPP for Bar Power in 2016, 2017. Within a year, we saw a lot of things happening.
Okay.
Which means that they were more prepared in opposition than NDC coming into power now.
Meaning that they weren't sure some commitment with the power 2008. And I said,
well, I know you have one thing, so you're sure, but preparing, so okay, you win here, say and you set the tables, no, you win here, and you start you hit the ground running. It is
a lot of policies by it came with a lot of policies.
Well, the policies
1 million coders job, 24-hour economy, big push, a whole lot of them. Within a year, no, still they couldn't went to me. I
believe that most of the policies that they have put, they said they were going to churn out, were huge policies that they actually recognized that it would be. And it's almost by even if they start now, maybe realization of the benefits, it will not come within their time. And so, Nanado Power now, he knew why he had come, he knew what he had said, and as soon as he hit the ground, he started churning out free education, inaugurated 1 factory, and all this. I don't know but it only explains, say, NDC government, either say they didn't believe that they would win the election, so they were not ready. And as almost policies now it was more utopian rather than reality, considering the economy itself and the rest of it. But one thing that they have been able to do, which is nice and good, is the dollar.
Stabilization of the dollar.
Because obviously we import things in this country, and so if you stabilize the dollar now, it is a plus for them. And I hope that they will even stabilize it. They will take it down a little bit more, but not in a very fast fall, because there's almost equity has been created on the dollar in terms of people's almost store musika, because one said dollar is stable into almost store musika was dollar into all of a sudden, if the prices the dollar rate falls so sharply, for instance, if I took 17 million at some point in time to buy $1 million in my account, and then all of a sudden it comes to 10 or 11, it means I've lost about 6 million. But if the 11 million could buy what I wanted to buy with my $1 million when it was 17, then there's no problem.
Yeah.
But as it stands now, no, you can't do that level. We say people have lost a lot of equity by the falling. No. But on the flip side, the Nyoma Bua Akofom Kakrai, it is a government issue. No making sure say the benefits of the fall of the dollar no were new to the benefit of the bigger populace.
Right.
For that,
the stock, the debt stock, dollar above for more, right? But your debt stock no, I rise it by 71.6 billion. Then
also a crowd of muniscan. That's all Bobo say. That's all Copisca baby now the brand said the fact that Uniscan ninjas all my come to unwindy. But Bobo said the atom. And to me, I look at the government as a government who has a lot of difficulty in terms of resources to run the country. A Quambia say why I say and said you will a teacher for say Tuomka and go for and need a steady expenditure daho. Apart from no maybe a PC yeah it develop where you know. The fact that dollar not drop on dollar is on the commercial rate, but your base expenditures no our so also quantifying in terms of dollar rate in the unit then that is it. But the real value of what the government needs to spend at any given time no and the dollar does not affect that one. The dollar affects you in terms of if America. First, not dollar rate in the say. It is a Mrs. Ghana city say that Medicoto. She say dollar rate in Abasi. It is a Mrs. Ghana city say that Medicoto. As well, how does it affect in Colano? 10 million, 10 billion cities now. I see you used to in Colano, school. And they city. And then dollar.
Yeah. I'm asking this because NCBC na Ghana your debt no arise no dollar ne ba form no omo ka say dollar na ba form nti amma your debt no aba form. Then all of a sudden it comes back that a cost.
Well, say the way we pay our debts to the foreign world is through our buying of dollars to pay them because the dollar ni betu omoka. It is a dollar rate no was in terms of cedis. It means we have to take a lot of cedis to go and pay. But if it comes down, it means we have to take less cedis to buy dollars to go and pay. But say last year they cut 71 billion cedis. And a down say it's a kaya DNA. And then dollar naba 10 cedis per year. Billionaire decano. See a quakutia definitely. Because because the best and dollar na kutuano esubeti. It there is some point in what the people are saying. So in the total scheme of things, I was thinking national debt in terms of payment or whatever. I sank a bathroom. And a finance minister no. On the church last year, 71 billion. On the church last year,
I'm for who say politics now. The two political parties play around because most of Ghanaians, was a cost above form, so they are trying to play with our intelligence.
Politics. And they are dead on politics no more. So be papa be papa kuni be anya. And so ba na I am more than that as a president Kufuor Oba power in 2000. Oba was I then yes anet you it is say who say that it is any be. It is anet here. But they must be truthful to the people and explain to them exactly what the situations are. Don't try to maintain your campaign or political stance, when you are not in governance. Well, back catch and go for now, then you almost say, they are better in you. It doesn't be a car and run. And idea bit me but you bet me work it towards it. That is politics, and that is governance, and that is being candid to the people. The people, so they are not going to be unreasonable to say that they need to be and to see China kianaki, and they say better the politics. I want to cast over into but the truth of the matter is, the government must benefit, the state must benefit, the people must benefit at any point in time. Truth is good. Ebema amanfonso etimia side was okay no kre wo ndiare any say the na be until your kind the infantry you move forward. But they still want to maintain their propaganda politics no more bodo propaganda so emwa
Anyway, make a message. I'll come back now. We're going to look at our judiciary now because a lot of questions are for raising with some judgments that have come. Kwandai sits in on some that the lumba and yen some only moment to your bar. We look at those areas now. Say are there some, as people are trying to perceive, some interferences about the judiciary system more? Yeah, my main message is kakra na afei ento aso capital go so menshia. Ghanaians still have hope in MPP, so I'm pleading to all delegates to give Dr. Bamu Bawumia a second chance to lead the party and win the power come 2028 to make sure Ghana stands on its feet again. And also the Odiabe Buanunom Lawrence Bacheke Buche was senior Soren Kwanta obeying a Unity oil filling station. So the recent disregard for Parliament in certain diplomatic actions taken by this Mahama NDC's government is equally a disregard for the good people of Ghana and must not be countenanced. As Honorable Kessben Maakye rightly indicated, the minority caucus is not opposed to extending humanitarian support to other countries, but such actions must be submitted to Parliament for approval. Briefing Parliament on such matters is not charity work, but a constitutional obligation. Delegates of MPP must vote for Honorable Brian Champon to win the 2028 elections with ease. All right. Wafa, good morning, please. I'll plead with the court not to bring VAR in their ruling. Mahama, Ghana is on one-party state. Why do you send military to different countries without Ghanaians knowing it? And when you do your okay, Prince the Abre and Anopen. We say Benji won fancy Syria. Watching live inside the fancy National Road. Greetings to Honorable Wisdom of Sebon Boama. 1 year in the position, MPP don't have money to eat as they were in power. They chopped money useless. That's why they chopped the money anyhow. That's why they are making unnecessary noise. Okay. And also the Daniel Koma wa hafu Kenya say number 2 Jericho. President Mahama, where is the 24-hour economy? You have totally failed. All right. Yeah, that's it for your message. Mystic Wonder Vocal, Ewo and Sanwemo Adroji. The many micro minority is suffering from leadership crisis in a state of confusion and has lost credibility. Ghana is not in isolation. Ghana has been receiving aids from many countries, and now that Ghana is also giving support to Jamaica, the MPP is shamelessly and hypocritically all over disturbing our ears with cacophony. Ghana is working again under the tried and tested President John Mahama. Never again to this nepotistic nation wreckers. One also dear and no. We say okay. Please, what we want, Honorable Regional Minister of the Parade. Okay, that one I'm not sure it's ours. All right. Okay, maybe it will help. What we want, the Honorable Regional Minister of the Operators of Transportation, they are exploiting passengers. Lorry fares have changed. When it is 3 p.m., they really start to charge higher fares and make short okay, the short distances they charge higher fares. You want him to hold them responsible by regulating them. Okay, yeah, that's I think it's very important as well. Adewe yakasa for so many times, and so yashada ayeho program, and so hanum na yedi eho enkomo. Happy birthday bi wa chime yama. Me dem number ma odesen ma ya the picture ni nyina beto so menso na yaye e amount, and so lawyer Charles Osudwana Honafe Yenhwe the judiciary na yeni enkomo enfa lawyer. A lot of cases aba you say CJD and yedi hu nkoma so many times. Pandai by elections Tamale High Court ekose yemongu na se yenkoto aba ni nyina foforo Emma Honorable Matthew Yindam epijae the court Tamale High Court one sene and ombetna injunction application no eso by Sosharara Echo Supreme Court Emma and Nanansa Supreme Court ediba say all things surrounding the run of the elections should be suspended. People see say it looks as if said the judiciary I said your name Kono. You are into the law. Let me ask you.
Well, I'm saying the genesis of a lot of people in said the elections, how the EC interacts and how they come even to the point where they declare the results.
Yeah.
Now, you're too abaniwi, near kind we are. Now say you can't win, so okay, when they're winning. For example, this particular case, I'm winning by 27,000 and over. And at the other guy, I'm 23 or 24,000.
It's over 5,000.
Yes, about 5,000 difference. 3,700 or something. Difference than they and we raise issues about 41 constituencies. Now, 41
police stations,
results. And the normal circumstance, the EC no edumo be and say or shade no kan 41 in our boom. To cabo muna so this results the can nipa call raise issue no one. Na say onipa win and the normal some could be win there, then the officer call for rerun. But so to me we need there, then there is no point. Because you call for rerun the crana, the total votes in the place, and they will a total votes in the place. No, yeah, the Canadian one, they will say, I that's be winning, and that's a go win. So to me, we need here, then the issue will declare the results as they were. Now, getting into other matters, a court near in Judge didn't make a ruling, sir. Even apart from 41, or check here, there are other discrepancies, and in your manoma or other areas in your first day, and then they see a ton of but there are timelines in these appeals because parliament, indeed, and your ma and transfer. Now, you trouble we declare results, and also was in Bika, and also petition be as within 21 days. So when you are 21 days a day, then the next obey. Now, when I'm saying 32 days and sana oh yeah.
Well, that is a contention the MPP are raising. But yeah, from this,
but a fact.
A fact. Okay.
Once a fact, and not going to the constitutional. So what happens to Obia? 1 year appeal no
within the stipulated time.
All
right. But may I share from this? 41 polling stations are raising here. The judge. Is it mandated? Meaning, we're talking about law. Say, or the 41 call, right? But also nullify the whole process.
Judge has the jurisdiction and the mandate to look at other things that has not been brought to him by the other person.
So the bias one number
to make a bit somoto.
All right.
No, I deal with those issues now.
So people are more criticizing the judge say because those things were not part of what the reliefs now or the buy and
the judge in Juma he has the jurisdiction to do that. To be
somoto.
No, Timmy no I share has say no I share. I did the buy crime who has say you bit me I call for evidence on it and make his ruling. But maybe the judge the problem I have with this I don't know, I've not read his judgment, but he should have dealt with the capacity, the jurisdiction, whether the guy is within the constitutional time limits for him to do that sort of thing. Because time limits is very, very important. The way a Supreme Court for this is adjournment, they were looking at the time limits, the petition. And then I mean, who said judge, and I'm saying, a son of Shepherd Cross and were entertaining application. And that's okay, I seek leave. But even at that, it is something that has to come clear in his decision. Say this is what it is. And let us not forget to say ECG. I've been saying the Electoral Commission. Open a constitution the mandate to conduct such elections. It is already clear we winning not a parliament. To be able to reverse that, it is not easy. I also go through the appropriate steps correctly and so now I arrive at that. I have a little bit of problem with timelines now. judge na anhwe
within 30 days
within 21 days within 32 days I was who say, okay, am I going to allow this to go or I'm not going to, and then give reasons. If you think that you're going to allow it to go there, then you give reasons for that. But it appears that he did not even consider either MPP who resist those issues during the court of first instance and stuff like that, but they raised it up. I don't see it as but obviously it is the people's representation in independent so no represent you. Now I think people are more worried now about what they are seeing in by-elections of late. The way it becomes so violent because it goes to go antagonistic and the rest of it, into MP before the face by-elections and why no masabe or madin be no more winning. And the more they win, the more they become too strong in parliament, which is not good for any democracy. And those are the things that I think is playing.
What about the time frame the judge gave for the elections to be rerun? 30 days, taking into consideration the procedures also common as for within 30 days. No, say within 30 days after the ruling. So
the agency of it was a parliament is a seat of the people's representatives. It was a team contra parliament into the same microphone representative, or the presumption is some of Webeka Yensemamai. Into at the time be a quack bobosia, a quack be a say and microphone some to be through their member. Into say quickly a Timmy Phyllis has seat. Maybe that was playing on the heart, on the mind of the judge for him to settle. But normally, when these things are going to happen, the person who is going to conduct it will have to go through a certain process, and that process must be taken into consideration. And behind the scenes, many easy for Bekasa. But the challenge of the time and so the motimia conduct another elections or something like that, so that I don't just fix the time. That probably will not be good enough for the EC to use. The system must work complementing each other in some of the things. Obviously, the judge is not an expert in conducting elections. EC for no munim de coup. I think time was a little bit rushed, and that can be sorted out when the EC comes up with his plan.
What happens? Supreme Court say one hold on with any rerun. Parliament declare the seat vacant. Can he go back to Parliament?
Well, yes, certainly.
What is that?
And I said, your Parliament in a MP. It's another system.
There's this school of thought. I believe we say the Supreme Court one question the ruling of the High Court, but Okase one hold on for any Parliament declares the seat vacant. The seat will remain vacant. Well, him say the injunction application is heard and.
The Parliament decided to make the seat vacant based upon the ruling of the High Court. Say as you to ban for the Parliament they know the emrasus okay. They may declare it vacant. But Speaker. A speaker is a very experienced politician. He's been in Parliament for years, and he should have known, sir. The three organs of government, they work together, checks and balances. Once I didn't move towards Supreme Court, I was going to check no, okay, but how these things go as an amateur.
Maybe also judges rerun for within 30 days. So within 30 days, they be well. Vacant, we can rerun.
In America, even though the Constitution gives the judiciary to make these decisions, the Constitution also creates another group called EC to conduct the elections, and the Constitution gives other people the power to do their things. It also harmonizing, but them say uja for go speed to say bibi enjina so me say bibi enjina and judge your decision say within 30 days is enjina because the Superior Court say bibi enjina na yenhwa enyomo no mu yeni hu exactly how
so Matthew in that betimi akọ Parliament akọ fan seats so kotena so
no say the Parliament once the legislature na decision say vacant in the you can go back very resolve issues and the Parliament Supreme Court so man can say on back no go travel almost be all the processes must stop down
halt
yes it's that easy don't conduct any elections yet we soon say we so you say you find this in then we see where we are going. But I'm intended to incline, sir, for the Supreme Court to come up with such a decision. I enter into the public arena in terms of the people's representative, which is very important. No, they must have something that they have seen that gives them the confidence to make such a decision.
Okay.
And yes, I am coming.
Decision. Now, ordinance, any
that the lumba.
That number won't be there are laws from certain jurisdictions we imported into Ghana because the ordinance marriage was happening in Germany. And how come? Because provide evidence or the evidence about right, but there were flaws in the evidence in the difference between the ordinance and the customary marriage according to Ghanaian laws. And so the Obifra Bontinye be room from other country be room. How do these things work out?
The laws in any country is the laws in that country, and so on that soil.
I see.
Near international laws, and so I see people the other countries in different parts of it.
And to be assumed to have to be from Bahanum.
This will be called ordinance marriage. The presumption is a ordinance marriage. A certificate which is it was an ordinance marriage, there are promises given that I'm going to marry this one. Only this woman shall I marry, and it for better for worse in Nyoma. The law holds you to those promises, and they say monogamous, which means worry being count. Ordinance marriage, and that is registry. Certify your mass certificate. Customary marriage, so it depends on customary. It depends across board. It depends on customs, of the people. And also, monogamous. So it's custom. Almost say, "Masa, you had your worry back one."
No.
I worry being count you. It's no. It is why I say, "Oh, yeah, dear, which may worry be account." Any polygamous, but ordinance no me worry being count. Even that's a crime. We are say event say bigamy. That is ordinance marriage in Baba sanity. Ghana and a customary marriage in saying it here. Now, a lot of people try to talk about things they have very little knowledge about.
Okay.
And the law has always has to be certain and it has to be consistent so that we can all order our lives according to the law. Into one more radio, the law says, the law says. In this country, a common law jurisdiction. And so the court plays a very important role in where the law is at any given time.
Right.
It is only the court in a cafe and has read the black letter now. But a specific case that I probably want to look at it, which has caught the airwaves throughout this period of time here, that the Lumba and the Warrior Seminole. Apparently, Obano Germany by and also no ordinance marriage, no ordinance marriage, so there's documents that underpin it. There's all the documents in the bar. So when you may have a document now, Madia, that's your case, you're changing customary marriage, meaning embojra. Because we are the announcement we are also went to me and 10 years.
Maybe I have people there who witness with pictorial evidence.
Ordinance marriage is a certificate to the document. Baby, I'll call so hope you now catch us. So we did not renting or police certificate. On best I reissue the same kind of thing now.
Baby, I am a documentary way because I said the meaning the German laws almost your mom documentary. Whatever, but they recognize such as
how do they recognize it? No, because you're my documentary here. I'm going to register on almost sign documents near you now. And it can be referred to find out, was it true that these people came to marry and did they register this thing? It will be because is being naive until the organizer. If you are in generative people, be unsure to say, but
they are documented.
If you want to find it, you will be there and it will be authenticated, and you can get the document and bring it to the court. But the undertones, what are they nothing? My say, or your ordinance marriage, or our papa on the for how many years? A very long time. And then I think he had deserted as a marriage for a very, very, very long time. And within that period of time, The man has gone to get another woman and has settled with the woman and had children.
Hold on, no. What is setting marriage and how? How that is what is that?
One of the things in marriage is mewarewa. It is not just me as maware. There are things that the parties do to maintain the marriage. And yes, our marriage, and I break it down.
For example?
I say my name is Reda. Part of it,
okay,
part of the marriage.
So who
deny me or data? I'm entitled to say the marriage is finished.
I see.
I go to court.
For how long?
Who deserted for 2 years, sir?
Just
separation for 2 years, sir. I'm a typical court marriage, you know, and BBN in 2 years, and we have been apart, and you know, Mungu and Mami. There are things that goes on in these things that you have to look at them before you begin to speak. And if it is true, with the minimum, if it is true, say this is what happened, and therefore the relationship stalled for a long period of time without convivialities and all that sort of thing. And yeah, now confirm about for now will bear 5 as a whatever. 1 can 6 1 can so you could have gone to Papa na ultimately defending the home. I feel now about the baby. I think it's bizarre. It's not on. And you know, me a judge in India, I will not bring her to common law to a customary marriage because he has not claimed so, or he was married customary.
Okay.
He says that he was married.
20 men proven.
That's it.
So the judge was lenient.
Yes,
in a way.
He was not lenient. I think he's wrong. He was wrong.
He was wrong.
Yes, but even if you come to customary or the neighbor customary what are the tenets of the customary marriage? And then you man customary marriage more. And then now be our more because say in the customary marriage. That's what we feel. If you're 6 months without any to come back,
customary then is 6 months. 6 months we feel and ordinance near 2 years if
and the separation
no separation
ordinance the separation we say no traditions you know and the custom could be some say oba fini krufie for best 6 months is it considered our end as well.
I see.
And go be some all these things come to play in the arena. People can be very about it, emotional about it, and the rest of it. It's only political gimmicks, social media gimmicks to sell their things and the rest. Will be our own shikran or kebi. And then Yoma. And to me, me feel say, me na come here judge in the moment there, and come in for them back. Because the neighbor has the right to share in properties and stuff like that. Me for them because now Bible catch a court to say we are ordinance marriage. Yes, you prove so ordinance marriage. I prove when to me improve there, and you meet me found customary because customary marriage, you know, you want your man, and now your rules and regulations are covered. It may con pity.
I see.
May arrive at the point of so Debbie. He's not married to the man. Until a job Brunia, so the current wife.
So he takes responsibility as
yes. And then if there's any property, she gets a share. So that the lumba will the and then gets a share. Some I mean, or customer, I know, can say half of the property belongs to her, and the rest of it at this time when the man was sick. That anything.
I see.
And all those things have happened. You know, maybe that's my interpretation.
Finally, what will you say? Your time is so answer.
Okay. Well, Oma, Ghana to say, me Ghana 40 say. The entire Shembrano. The Shembrano said the bear will be a bit me humbrano no other than a life according to Mrano. Yedimraso. The idea is that the margin in a car and I'm a way have because margin say me kaise no. And name ranko. Now because I go social media and be a kabi bikeke, opposite the voice. So when your lawyer near Jai. And yet margin and ye di bumino. Get them bra, de bumino. It's more men go to radio so the law says on which part of the law are you interpreting? Is it the where the law is at any given time, which is the precedents and stuff now? You are not very versed and technically knowledgeable in the area. Why are you confusing people? Yeah. And so you mislead them. And then they'll go and do things that will not help them. And then it is
we should leave those ones for the lawyers.
For the lawyers
no more can want some.
And to lawyer. Now I be a lawyer. I didn't say to me for lawyer and be say. Now I got to travel be now can we say yes 2 packs say yes we say Papa yes yeah Ghana for you now what born you mammy asa aji dia e mama ye ni basa and same hunuti ain't no woman.
All right.
Na daddy di oko. Okay.
Omo na chin.
Okay, omo na chin you no go nya baby ndadi.
Thank you very much, Lawyer Charles Owusu Juana. No, a private legal practitioner. He's a friend of Kessben. No, you do hanko adia. Was thank you very much for
Masa. Cathedral wa fanya ejuma o.
Sa.
Me cathedral no. Be gusu papa.
Ugusu.
And to Ghana for mumbre is cathedral. Yes, ka baby.
On the also be cathedral no nti mumbre is ka.
Mumbre scan e fancy cathedral na wo see.
All right.
Aban say o ma ye no ma nyina some ye bibia mfimu mba de besia ne say nipa omo you are omo promises on be meska because of scandals in no man revival the cathedral na ho papa
right.
The board is in session, everything is working, the contractors are there, they are ready to move like yesterday.
All right,
until you move forward.
Thank you very much. Baba boy see me the become agenda
I say we your momo platforms it's there's 10 cities so 20 cities basic cathedral and the basic and President Ekrom President Papa die and then a radio station and then I'm contra on the chair and say President me do haseyo into the cathedral na me boko.
Thank you very much. Who else I don't know.